Before we start with today's video, I just want to mention that I have a new channel now called Mr. Salad. This is because I do want to do more Dokkan, Legends, and possibly other gaming content, but I don't want to oversaturate this channel with those videos. And I feel the best move is to split the two up. So if you're interested in seeing some more Dokkan and Legends videos from me, be sure to check out that channel. I'll link it at the top of this video and in the description below. But now I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, the intro. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another What If video. I'm glad the first part to this What If got a really good response, because I think Tarble has a lot of potential to be a pretty cool character, especially used in this What If. Last time, we covered Tarble's history in this scenario, leading up to Namek, which eventually ended with the encounter with the Ginyu Force. Let's set a like goal of 2,500 likes for this video, and without further ado, let's pick up from where we left off last time. Frieza can already tell that the Ginyu Force screwed up, so he decides he's going to take matters into his own hands. He puts on a scouter in order to search for any high power levels that he could find. And across the planet, he senses one that stands out to him. It definitely isn't someone from the Ginyu Force or his army. So, he decides to pursue this mysterious power, thinking it might lead him to at least one Dragon Ball. The power he actually sensed was Nail, which had led him to Guru's place. We'll leave these two alone for a bit, and let's switch back over to Tarble to see what's up with them. After defeating most of the Ginyu Force, Recoome did leave and went after Vegeta. Since Tarble knows that Frieza's after everyone, he wanted to create a temporary alliance with the group that he was just fighting with. And his first objective is to fight Recoome and protect Vegeta. With little time to waste, Tarble immediately departs, and Goku's group follows close behind him. They're still not really sure if they want to trust this guy, but as I mentioned in the previous episode, they do see that he is a bit different from Vegeta, and given the situation they're in, it's probably wise to stick with as many people as possible. Tarble arrives and he sees Recoome about to attack Vegeta, and immediately, with one hit, he takes Recoome down. There actually was nothing to worry about. He was stronger than Recoome without even realizing it. He's pretty amazed with his strength. All the Zenkais he got up to this point, especially the one after fighting the Ginyu Force, really helped him grow stronger. He felt confident taking on Recoome, but he didn't know he could one-shot him. This amazement goes both ways because Vegeta sees this as well. He's a bit beat up by Recoome, and it's good that Tarble intervened when he did because Recoome was about to land the finishing blow. But more so, he's speechless by seeing Tarble's strength. He feels a mix of emotions: pride, jealousy, anger, sadness, all of these. He doesn't really know how to feel about Tarble surpassing him in terms of power. Goku's group then lands behind them, and Vegeta sees what's going on. He's asking why Tarble led them here, and Tarble explains that they all fought the Ginyu Force together, and he decided it would be a better idea if they stuck with more people. Vegeta's angered now, but he hears Tarble out, and now that they have Frieza after them, he's kinda right. They need as much power as they can get. And it's good timing too, because now they sense Frieza approaching. His fight with Nail went pretty much as you'd expect, and after detecting a huge burst in power just now, of course he's gonna go check it out. This might be his answer. Especially since now Recoome's off the radar. Reluctantly, Dende heals Vegeta, in preparation for Frieza's arrival. So where are we in terms of power levels right now? Well, let's cover that here. Goku is going to be at 3 million here. It's a good thing that they had Dende and he didn't have to wait to be healed in the healing pod. As for Tarble, he surprisingly got really strong, but it makes sense considering how close he's been to death this whole time. He's at a power of 1.5 million. Way behind him is Vegeta, who's at 400,000, which is still pretty impressive. Behind that is Gohan, who's around 200,000, with Krillin at 75,000. The main cast is pretty much normal, with Vegeta and Tarble being the only real changes here, because Vegeta's stronger and, well, Tarble was never here in the first place. Goku and friends convince Vegeta to hand over the Dragon Balls, saying that they'll call for support and find a way to defeat Frieza that way. Vegeta and Tarble aren't in a position of power here. To be fair, Tarble himself is decently strong, but they can't stand up to someone like Goku. Oh, excuse me, Kakarot. That's like their thing, calling him Kakarot. But yeah, they're not really in a position to say no here. Begrudgingly, they agree and they fly over to the other Dragon Balls, quickly summoning Porunga thanks to Dende's help. And this goes pretty much like you could expect. Piccolo was brought back to life and then teleported to Namek. And then, oh no, Guru dies, he just loves doing that. Too bad because Vegeta was about to wish for immortality for him and Tarble. Damn it, seems like they'll have to wait. Frieza is getting angrier and angrier. He just arrived at the spot where he detected that huge power boost, and there's nothing there. And by the time he got there, he sees in the distance that the sky turned black and there's a giant dragon in the sky. And that could really only mean one thing. While Porunga's still there, he rockets over towards that area, hoping not to miss them this time. And he finally catches up to them, just as Porunga disappears. They stole his wishes, and now he can't get them back. Angered, Frieza's in the mood to fight here. Immediately, he goes into his second form, and tells everyone he's just getting started. This is only a taste of his power. Meanwhile, on the other side of Namek, Piccolo is brought back, and he finds Nail nearly dead on the ground. His arrival on Namek goes pretty much like normal. He fuses with Nail and then immediately goes to find Frieza, because right now he senses that Frieza's fighting with his friends. He needs to make haste because it looks like they're in trouble. Frieza's still in his second form, but of course he's not done yet. He turned into his third form, and everyone starts facing trouble. They were able to hold him off in his second form pretty easily, but now that he's in his third form, it's going to be a lot harder. Thankfully, by the time this happens, support arrives in the form of Piccolo, and now it's a 7v1 against Frieza. Goku, Tarble, and Piccolo fight as Krillin, Vegeta, and Gohan provide support, with Dende hiding away so he doesn't die, and he could stay there as a healer. Already this fight is seeming a lot more optimistic. Realizing that his third form isn't enough here, he decides to finally power up into his final form, and the group realizes that they can't risk it. They go full power. Goku shows off Kaioken times 20, Piccolo shows off his full power now that he's fused, and Tarble, well, he doesn't really have anything necessarily too special, but he's strong, so there's that. And the three of them all team up and hit Frieza with a massive combined beam, joined with some help from Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin. Before he can even go into his final form, Frieza is defeated, knocked unconscious. This full power strike while he was mid-transformation was actually very helpful and smart. They realize that Frieza's still alive because of his insane survivability, and Goku kinda does want to spare him, but Tarble steps in towards the unconscious Frieza and eradicates him with a single beam. Damn, does it feel good to do that. It's a good thing that Goku and Tarble were here and that they acted earlier to fight Frieza. By preventing him from going into his final form, it allowed them to defeat Frieza with a little bit of struggle, and for good this time. Alright, so now what? Kami wishes to revive every Namekian, and I know I've done a similar ending to Namek arcs in some of my other what-ifs, so I'm going to speed through this a little bit. With the wish to revive every Namekian, that means Porunga's back, and they get one wish, and instead of being selfish, they decide to restore all the damage done to Namek, so the planet is restored back to normal. Mori is actually made a Grand Elder before Guru dies, and Namek is now saved and everything's back to normal. Once Porunga is back, as a show of thanks, the Namekians will revive Tenshinhan, Yamcha, and Chaozu as a gift. At least once Porunga returns. So the Earthlings should expect to see them back in 3 months' time. And everyone boards Goku's ship and goes back to Earth. They bring Vegeta and Tarble along because they don't really know what else to do, and the two did help fight Frieza, so I guess they can kinda trust them now. The Namek arc had a surprisingly happy conclusion, but could we say the same about the other arcs going forward? Well, we'll see about that. Because there's already another feud about to start, and that's between Vegeta and Tarble. Seeing Tarble and Kakarot so strong, Vegeta is half impressed with his brother, but also half angered at himself, seeing that he isn't as strong as either of them. Not only that, but Tarble just shot past him. A feud is brewing with Vegeta, but instead of the normal Dragon Ball feud, it's something that's internal, something within Vegeta. He feels lost here. All of these conflicting emotions boil up inside of him, and eventually everyone gets back to Earth. Immediately, Vegeta goes into solitude, training intensely. The good thing is that Capsule Corp is a gravity training room, so 24/7, Vegeta is trying to go in there seeing if he could somehow break his limits. And with him at Capsule Corp so much, well, Vegeta and Bulma still happens. So a lot of this seems the same so far, doesn't it? Well, things are going to be changing as we go forward into the Androids arc. So stick with me here. Everyone is eventually revived as well, but Vegeta still keeps up with his training. Vegeta is focused on only one goal, catching up to his brother and Kakarot. I guess that's actually kind of 2 goals, but you know what I mean. Tarble does train occasionally and sometimes with Vegeta, but he notices that Vegeta's been acting very distant, kinda. It's odd. He's definitely changed since that experience on Namek. Why is that though? He goes more and more into solitude, and eventually shuts pretty much everyone off besides Bulma. He feels like a failure, and he can't help but shake the feeling of uselessness. He wasn't an asset on Namek, he was a liability. The fight with Frieza especially, Vegeta was just on the sidelines watching Tarble, Piccolo, and Kakarot do their thing. It should have been him. His brother was a weakling, and he never deserved to be this strong. Kakarot's a low-class warrior. He shouldn't be this strong either. Has he been going about it wrong his whole life? Does the class of Saiyans that he's in really matter? One day during training, Capsule Corp begins shaking. Vegeta is in the gravity room, training just as hard as he was before, under many times higher than normal gravity. He keeps pushing himself farther and farther with the gravity, with his feelings of jealousy, rage, sadness, and uselessness finally boiling up, almost ready to burst. The entire area starts shaking, as Vegeta feels an explosion of power. Suddenly, the gravity in the chamber becomes a lot lighter. He could have sworn he was at a couple hundred times Earth gravity right now. Did the chamber just stop working? He feels lightweight, but then he realizes something. His power's overflowing. There's an aura around him that's different than before. He goes to turn off the gravity to see what's going on, but then he sees, as the red lights in the room turn off, in the reflection of the control panel that controls the gravity, Vegeta sees. His hair's golden. There's no way. Only one thing is in Vegeta's mind right now. The only conclusion that he could even jump to. Has he actually done it? Is this actually a Super Saiyan? Immediately the power goes away, but Vegeta remembers the feeling. All his motivation immediately comes back, his pride restored, and everyone rushes over to Capsule Corp after sending the surgeon key. Vegeta has finally reclaimed the throne, but he isn't sure how, and of course he has to try and access this power again. He slowly goes back into training with everyone else, with Kakarot and Tarble trying to figure out what he's done. They've been training this entire time too. Tarble's actually kind of become friends with Kakarot, since he never really had a bad experience with him like Vegeta did, and they've developed a friendly rivalry, but Vegeta's on a whole new level now. This Super Saiyan thing is intriguing. They're greeted by someone that they've never seen before. It's Trunks. He's a little bit confused. There's no Frieza or King Cold, so he decided to find the group and see what was going on. He keeps his identity secret, but he's here to give Goku the heart virus medicine and to warn everyone about the androids. But more surprising than Frieza and Cold not being there is the fact that there's this new guy here. He has to try really hard to not hide his astonishment when he finds out that this is Vegeta's brother. He has an uncle? Since when? He's never heard about this Tarble guy. Anyways, he shows off Super Saiyan to the group and prepares to fight Goku, thinking that he can do it as well. Goku's amazed to see that Trunks is a Super Saiyan, but he reveals that he doesn't know how to do Super Saiyan just yet. But he knows of the form and has been training towards it. Trunks is really confused. He knows by this time in the future Goku had Super Saiyan already. So why doesn't he have it here, and how does he know about it if he doesn't actually know how to use it? Vegeta then steps up and shows Trunks that he is the one who can go Super Saiyan right now. Trunks is noticing that there's a lot of changes here, some discrepancies in the timeline. Did he cause these by traveling back in time? Or maybe it was the fact that Tarble's here. He's not too sure, but things aren't looking good. But just to gauge everyone's power, he wants to have a fight with Vegeta. Vegeta obliges, going Super Saiyan as well. He still doesn't know who Trunks is at this point, but he's pretty impressed with his power. Trunks is equally surprised to see that Vegeta is as strong as he is right now, all of his confusion aside. They have a friendly sparring match and both enjoy it, and Trunks is glad that he had this opportunity. While he's not sure about the whole timelines thing right now, or about any discrepancies that he's noticed, he still promises to return in 3 years' time, wanting to make sure everything in this timeline is okay. He heads back to his time, but not before he tells Goku his true identity. Oh, and of course Piccolo hears this as well. Now, Trunks goes back home, and Vegeta turns to the group. If they need to prepare for these androids, they need to follow his lead. As the top dog around here, he's going to take initiative and show off his true power, hoping to whip everyone into shape. More Super Saiyans and stronger Earthlings. They just need to follow his lead. Just like old times, he feels like he's commanding the Saiyans once again, finally back to his former self. This is where we'll leave off for now. So with Vegeta's development here, how do you think that'll affect the story? And how will the training go before the androids show up? What else do you think will be different about the androids arc now that everything's changed here? And what might be in store for Tarble in the future? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit the like goal that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.